Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lauren. I'm a cisgender woman.
And I'm Mary Ellen. I'm Lauren's wife and a transgender woman, and you've tuned in to Sapphic by Circumstance, a weekly conversation about love, relationship, identity, and transcending the boundaries of our cis-het world as a couple of accidental lesbians.
Well, soon to be weekly. We haven't started yet.
I guess you're right. I should say welcome to the teaser episode of Sapphic by Circumstance. We are so excited to begin sharing episodes with you weekly, starting February 7th, 2023, and continuing each Tuesday. It's not too early to subscribe to us wherever you're hearing this to make sure you don't miss any part of this ongoing conversation.
That's right. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Podchaser, Pandora, YouTube, SoundCloud, and a bunch of other places I've never heard of. Tag us on social media to tell us your favorite podcast client. And if we're not there, we will be soon. Check the episode description for all of our socials or visit our website at sapphic.bycircumstance.com.
So with this short teaser episode, we want to give you a sense of who we are and what we're here to talk about. Lauren, love, why don't you start with just a bit of an introduction?
Absolutely. So I'm Lauren, a cisgender, mid-30s woman married to the most amazing person in the whole wide world. I primarily think of myself as a wife and a mother to our son, who is the sweetest, most loving child ever. And I feel we are very lucky to be his mothers. Mary Ellen, you next?
Sure. I'm Mary Ellen. I'm a trans woman in my late 30s, just over a year into my transition, and married to my favorite lady. And, as Lauren said, our son is just the center of our universe. I've known I wanted to be a parent since I was 14, 16. What's funny is I wish I'd known specifically that I wanted to be a mom. That wasn't clear back then. But addition to being a wife and mom, I am an educational administrator, a bombastic karaoke singer, a former theater kid who longs for a world where it's sustainable to be a theater adult, and a recovering political junkie who just can't take much more of all the insanity. With the basics covered, love, do you mind sharing a little bit about why you're excited to be taking on this big project?
Yeah. Well, Mary Ellen's egg cracked, and I found myself thrown into the deep end of life as a mother and partner to a newly out partner. Thank goodness I'm a strong swimmer. I quickly started my search for resources, support, and examples of what being a supportive, loving partner can be, and wow. It was bleak and very doom and gloom. Even the statistics were negative. So after trying to read a few books and finding myself appalled, angry, and more lost than when I started, I decided to make my own path forward. And I still am. Being married to a newly transitioning partner is not as bad as everyone makes it sound. For one thing, my wardrobe, shoe, and makeup collection has doubled in size, and I was getting to see my partner, who I love so freaking much, just blossomed into this happier, more accepting and loving person. Don't get me wrong, there are difficulties and a lot of things to re-examine within yourself. But honestly, it's worth it because it has pushed me to re-examine my sexuality, internalized misogyny, relationships with family and friends, and so much more. Mary Ellen, what about you? Why are you joining me in telling these stories?
Mostly because I agree with everything that you just said. From the flip side of my perspective, the stories online made me sad. The bullying, the despair, the loss, the deep, deep sadness. And while our own experience has been far from idyllic, I think what's made our time together since my transition began so special are the ways that you've pushed me to embrace my truth, the ways we've faced challenges together, and the ways that it's felt like we could accomplish anything as long as we stick together. I still deeply believe that. It's super important to tell transition stories of hope. It's vital that a variety of trans stories get told. And what's more, I hope that the example of my transition, our transition, can inspire not just other couples going through what we have to persevere, but can also inspire cis and straight allies to see that transition isn't all tears and gnashing of teeth and rending of garments, and just show them what transition could be, what it should be for every trans person. And, last, I hope that I can be a voice for my fellow 30 and 40 somethings just making this realization, just experiencing the cracking of their eggs. I'm envious of this current Gen Z, where it's much more possible to do this early, but that wasn't the case for me and for many others my age. And I haven't found a lot of voices out there talking about what transition looks like now at this age. Not that they're not out there, but that there aren't enough of us. I want to add my voice to the chorus with yours singing in harmony.
I don't sing, but yes, I am with you. I always have been. Okay, so we've told them who we are and we've told them why we're here. Do you mind if I share some things that they should know for full context when we start actually making real episodes?
Sure, go ahead.
Awesome. So every relationship is unique, but there are a few things that have always made ours truly one of a kind. Like how you told me in our first, was it our first? Yeah. First conversation that you liked men more than women when it came to intimacy.
I don't think I used the word intimacy.
This is a family show, Mary Ellen. Stop it. Anyway, yeah. So it's no surprise to me that our relationship was going to be unlike any I'd ever had. In part because of your queerness and in part because we'd be exploring the boundaries of non-monogamy together.
Yeah, I didn't tell you at the time. I had a pretty good bluff score on this one, but it had never really worked out well for me before. I'd tried non-monogamy and somehow managed to still get cheated on. So yeah, it was impressive. Yeah, but I knew it was the only way that we would be able to navigate what was coming, even though I did not have a full picture of what would be coming.
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if that's true, but we'll get to that. Okay, so we're poly. I'm trans. We're both basically straight, asterisk, and we're in a lesbian marriage. What'd I miss?
I think that's everything. Sounds like a knot that needs untying to me. And as we do so, I look forward to taking on topics like relationship changes, fear about losing the person you love, finding space for support and acceptance, discrimination, safety, family, friends, parenting, and re-envisioning the future.
For my part, I'd add some thoughts on the logistics of transition, navigating healthcare, intimate relationships, fighting my own internalized transphobic bigotry, and adapting to entirely different social expectations around, everything from emotional expression and regulation to altered workplace treatment and expectations. We'll get into a lot of the nitty-gritty and talk about the hard things too, but hopefully without resorting to despair or woe.
Yeah, we're not the despair and woe type.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up for now. Please join us for the premiere of Sapphic by Circumstance on Tuesday, February 7th, when we will begin this conversation for real. The title of our first episode will be Another Egg Cracks and the World Turned Upside Down. Yes, Mary Ellen is the one inserting the musical references into these titles.
And you love them like you love me.
I do. If you enjoyed our conversation today, you won't want to miss it. So make sure you are subscribed to get new episodes every Tuesday as soon as they are released.
And if you found our chat today interesting, there are a ton of ways that you can help our little podcast grow. If you're listening on YouTube, please, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, leave a comment. If you're already subscribed and listening on your favorite podcasting app, a share out to your social network or a rating and a review go a long way.
And you can follow us on all our social media to join in on the conversation. Check the episode description or visit sapphic.by-circumstance.com for links. After each episode, we will post a question to all of those platforms for our listeners to discuss. Today, we want to know, what is the biggest question you have about approaching transition as a couple? Maybe you're going through it. Maybe you know someone who is or has, or maybe you're just curious.
Whichever it is, please do share your thoughts as a stitch on TikTok or a comment on YouTube, a tweet, a toot. Did you know that that's what they're called on Mastodon?
No, that sounds like toots. A gaseous explosion.
Well, it could be both. I feel like that's what tweets should be called. Or you can even be a part of our chat on our Discord server for monthly subscribers. Join for as low as $2 a month. The link's in the episode description or on our website. We'll be introducing perks as the community of supporters grows. So if you'd like to see, monthly video AMAs, or maybe participate in interactive game nights, or get direct access to us to share episode ideas or requests, we'd really love your support.
And with that, I am Lauren.
And I'm Mary Ellen.
And this has been Sapphic by Circumstance, Accidental Lesbians Transcending Boundaries Together.
The teaser episode. Thanks for listening.